Hello, everyone. Welcome to our QFAA podcast series. I'm your host, Tornado, and next to me is co-host Jenny. Today, we are very honored to have Ms. Eli Tang as a guest. So, Eli is a QFin graduate in the class of 2023, and she is currently the associate of APAC Cash Equities Trading at a Bank of America subsidiary. So, outside of work, she is also a musician and does quite a lot of performances during the weekends. So thank you for coming, Eli.
Thank you very much.
Yep, sure. So for this podcast, so I will handle the first half of it, and which is more relevant to Eli's current job, and Jenny will be in charge of the second part about the personal side of her. But before we jump into the questions, Eli, so why don't you give introductions about yourself to the audience?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Eli Tang. I graduated in 2023, as Tornado said. I currently working in Bank of America as a cash equity trader. My team is called Cash Equity Facilitation. For those who might not know, facilitation is basically when clients trying to sell or buy some stocks, we will quote them a price and our desk will take the risk.
I see. So you're basically kind of like a middleman, or just give them a quote for some kinds of stocks and then you give them the quotation?
So our clients are institutional investors.
I see.
They are usually their size is much bigger than the market depth can absorb. So they will ask for facilitation. They connect with us via our sales. Say for example, they want to sell a stock. We will quote them a price that we feel comfortable taking the risk. Mm-hmm. Then if it is done, we will buy the stock at that price. Then we have the option to either selling back the stock at market, or we can keep it for ourselves. If we manage to sell it at a high price, then great, we make money. Otherwise, well.
I see. So basically for these kind of stocks, for the facilitation, so what kind of sectors or geographies of these stocks that you mainly do this kind of facilitations?
So my team cover all the APAC market. For the traders sitting in Hong Kong, we cover APAC excluding Japan, excluding Australia. But me personally, my time zone, my market hours cover from Korea, which is 8 o'clock Hong Kong time, to India, 6 p.m. Hong Kong time.
Would you guys actually use some kinds of AI or AI agents to facilitate with your work?
Well, AI agent, short answer currently is no, because the trading system is very proprietary to a bank. So you could imagine like a big corporation will take a lot of time to walk through all the compliance check, safety checks, etc. for the agents to be actually in the trading system. But we do have a lot of AI tools. We do use a bit of coding. When I first started my job, the coding was mainly Python, mainly for automation, report, sometimes analysis, visualization. Now, when the AI is more incorporated into our system, we also use that for writing comments, meeting notes, summaries, news searches, the qualitative side of thing. We also use them for a lot of coding as well. It speed up a lot. And now it is also, have access to some of our database. So we do use that for more analysis of things as well.
I see. So in the past, you guys kind of do it like through directly writing the codes.
Yes.
And maybe do some data visualization. That's before the AI actually happens or being implemented in the bank. But then after, sometimes later when AI tools are incorporated in your company, then you start doing different kinds of things like jotting meeting notes more effectively, or trying to have them write the codes for you.
Exactly. Well, we haven't we write up the code ourselves and ask them to debug it. Trading wise, actually quoting pricing currently, as my understanding, not yet.
Eli, what do you like about this current job? And are there any funny stories that has happened in the workplace?
Yeah, I like my job at global markets, my department basically, because it is fresh. Every day is a difference. Every day exciting. As a sell side risk trader, our position, rarely spreads for years. It is, to some, it is relatively short-term, quote unquote. So market, it working like a voting machine in the short run, right?
Yeah.
So I often describe it as watching a detective movie together with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can place your guess of what's going to happen next. Well, not only you can place your guess, you can also, share your guess with everyone. What do you think? It would be like watching a movie with my family at home, and we talked about the plot. Earlier I watched a Squid Game with my family, so we discussed about it a lot, and then after everyone, have their say, the story actually unfold in front of you. So you gotta watch the world happening, the event happening live. That's what I found fascinating.
Basically watching a movie in every trading day.
Yes, yes. It has been changing a lot because of geopolitical events.
Yep.
So you wake up the other day, you trade one day, and then market closed in a certain sentiment, and then you go home and sleep. Wake up the other day, it's
with another
different.
Sentiment.
Yeah.
With another sentiment. That has been something that we've experienced in March mainly, I guess.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges that you have found during your work?
Well, a lot. The biggest challenge being intelligence, man.
Intelligence?
Well,
Tell me about
people are so smart.
Okay.
The smart being the quick thinking is important. So from, we have that, we call it RFQ, request for quote. Basically, a client will send their buy or sell request or two-way request via a Bloomberg system. We will have like an alarm, literal alarm, like beep, 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 very loud. Okay. From that point on to we're actually trading it will be between like 30 seconds to 1 minute, quoting a price. But then what I found is that trading for bank is very different from personally, because I thought, buy and sell stock is just click of a button, right? But after I came to the company, I found out there's a lot to it. You gotta watch out for your volatility, market depth. Liquidity risk is like one big concern for the size. And also you need to think about, hedging your FX, how you want to unwind the stock. So all that twinkling in your mind, and then you express your thinking, all your thoughts in one quote in 30 seconds to a minute. So oftentimes it will be, especially when the client asking for a stock that you are not very familiar, or a market that has more restriction, then it would be like a mini panic attack. It's like beep, beep, beep. What to do? Yeah, okay, but you get used to it after like a while, and then I still found it very, very exciting.
Oh, yeah. So basically, every time when you guys receive the RFQ, and then your brain starts to run like crazy to find the best strategies to deal with this kind of quotes, and then you have to hedge the risk, not just for the client, but also for yourself.
Yeah, so we come in prepared. We have a certain view for this sector or some like more popular stocks. The market is rallying today, but is it like a 50 bips rally, or is it like a 2% rally? And then markets open, the stock went up, say 1.5%, and the client came. It's a seller. So is it a 1.5 rally, or is it a 3% rally now at this point? And then it would be like a lot of self-talking. All the thoughts would be combined, concentrated into that one quote. So it's a very time sensitive, and you also faces a lot of mental pressure, because what if you buy the stock and then you start plunging, so you're like questioning about the entire life. So it's not like that. Personally, you trade, you buy a stock, and then you have a full, like all the time you have to do valuation, financial analysis. We do watch a lot of those kind of research reports, but when it actually happen, from your trading to you unwinding the risk, is often have a much less time horizon, and the quick thinking part is very
brain consuming.
Yes,
more like brain consuming.
It's the part that takes most of the energy and effort.
Yeah. let's just switch a little bit to, let's say, the culture and the vibes that you're working for in your team as well as in Bank of America. How can you describe the culture and the vibes in these places?
Well, the culture is super nice in Belmo, I would say. So people, well, at least like my team and the teams working around us, people are super nice. They are willing to teach and willing to share. So sharing about not only about trading ideas, market information, but they are also willing to share how they like their working process. You know, for example, I do single stocks. And that would be my counterparts, basically my batchmate, because I joined the company via internship and return offer. So that would be a few of my batchmate working similar job but with a different products. So people are very willing to share about how they work more efficiently, and that's very, very great. We are encouraged to do that as well. There's like one certain characteristics that you will often found as a very big corporation is that what I found very unexpectedly is there are many different teams, very specialized team, because trading a stock could be very complicated, involve a lot of like very much institutional details, have a lot of team watching over that. So together we are very detailed oriented. So if you make like you cannot just wing it through your mistakes, like even the smallest mistakes. Eventually what you do, you thought no one would find out, but eventually it will circle back to you. That result in another culture is everyone is very responsible. They follow through their task. They own the task. So I found that too, you know, very great culture there.
Have you tried interning in other places before?
I started interning in different companies after college entrance exams. Or should I have done that? Should have, you know, one real summer holiday.
Now you're regretting it. Okay, I see.
Well, but
We all regret it, okay? We all regret it.
so I started at social enterprise, and then I went into equity buy-side research, and then went to IBD, and then to sales and trading. So within sales and trading, you know, we also had a rotation where you rotate 2 trading desks, FICC equity, and also a sales desk for me. So I tried a few things, and then the first few internship is where I found out what I didn't like. And then by elimination, I went to trading. Oh, I actually like it. Bank of America has an, you know, extra layer of responsibility. It's also have a culture that is very, I would say, kind of open-minded.
Open-minded.
Especially with, you know, the wave of AI, you have to be open-minded. People in general are they don't mind being challenged. Trade on the trading floor, that people are very blunt and very straightforward. And at the same time, they don't mind being challenged. If they're wrong, well, they're wrong.
Just take it, right?
Yeah, just take it.
Okay, cool. So basically, the journey of your internship from social enterprises, eventually to IBD, and eventually going back to sales and trading is just a journey for you to discover who you really are and what you really like or are you good at, and eventually you settle down in sales and trading. So it's a very important journey, and you cannot do it through a summer holiday or something. Every step actually counts.
I will take one after retirement.
But I guess it's going to be quite hard for you to take a holiday right now, considering that you just recently got promoted. So congratulations on that one.
Thank you very much.
So basically, right now, since you have been promoted, do you feel a step up in terms of the responsibilities or in terms of the number of team members that you're have to take care of?
Yeah, definitely in terms of the responsibility part. So analyst, I would say, is a stage of where you learn the process, learn how people do it. And then being an associate on top, there would be starting to have a revenue, profit and loss, you know, generating. So everything I do need to consider, do I add value? Do I make money here? It's only, after all, it's a very simple goal, but achieving a simple goal is always not simple. So it's only two things. One, the job I do, does it save time for me or for someone else? Second, the job I do, does it make money? It's only that two questions on every task that you got to ask yourself. If the answer is a no, then, well, how can you automate it? Or delegate it if you're more, senior. But, I want to do much more in this current position. I will make more money, definitely.
Sure.
I also want to explore a lot more strategies on making money, because I feel like, remember like watching a detective movie, trading in the market. So your strategy is basically, I feel like it's my language. So you can make money on, spread trades, AH trade, long short, just holding the delta, regional long short. So there are many different strategies you can make money. I want to explore a lot more of that, because I feel like to express a certain view or to form a certain sentence, you need the vocabulary. And I'm still in the phase of learning that vocabulary.
Okay, learning the vocabulary.
I can foresee that it will always be a learning curve. You never end. But at the same time, I wanted to build a lot more automation tasks for my team so that they can just click buttons and then explore a lot of different strategies.
We just talked about the skills as well as the different kinds of strategies that you want to explore, and it's a never-ending learning curve. But what about for people who wanted to start their trading journey? What kind of advice would you give to students, or if they want to get into trading, what should they learn first?
Yeah, so first of all, for current students, just apply for the internships. It's just a few clicks of button. You feel like the job is interesting, you just apply it. So that's first thing first. And then there one advice that I was told during my internship that I found it very, very useful. Is if you want to get into trading, obviously you start watching all the geopolitical, financial news, market news, etc. You could go one step further after watching the news. For example, recently, IBKR, like Interactive Broker, allows global retail to trade Korean stock on their platform. After watching that piece of news, then take a step further. Pick a equity or asset class, then think about what is impact the news to the asset class. So would it be like a positive? But at the same time, Korea has already rallied a lot year to date wise. Maybe not so much in March, but has market already priced in that news? I watch the news and what would S&P 500 do today? And then try to guess the magnitude. It costs you nothing. It's just a mental guess, right? Okay. But then you got to formulate that process of thinking of linking the real world event to market impact. That actually help a lot when you don't have time to do the full research by yourselves on the point.
You're reading some of the news even if you don't have too much time, but when you come across a news, just take a step further in order to trigger your brain to activate the neurons inside it to think about different kinds of strategies that is affected by that news.
Exactly. Just try to link everything in the world to the market.
I see.
And of course, start a personal trading account if you don't. You got to know it once you start, actually doing it.
It's a way of thinking, it's a way of action that it will eventually translate into our personal skills.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for that kind of advice.
Yeah. My biggest advice would be, apply early. You got to find out the result earlier. Then you can prepare for your next steps, like good or bad. You will have at least one LinkedIn contact that who works in Bank of America. Reach out to them.
Grab a coffee.
Yeah, or maybe just even chat so that they can reply you when they have time and when they see it.
So that's basically all about the current job and the company related questions. And for the next part, I'm going to pass my time to Jenny. So she will be asking Ellie about her personal interests and some other things that will relate to Ellie herself personally.
Now let's switch to some personal questions about Ellie. I just follow your Instagram.
Oh, thank
when
you.
When I prepare this interview, so I watch some of your music plays. So is it like music is your like most favorite hobby?
Yeah, music is my biggest hobby. It takes a big part in my life, honestly. I wouldn't say I'm a pro, like a real musician, not yet. I play in a band. We practice, have a gathering most weekends, and I take lessons. So yes, I love it.
So do you sing or play any music instrument?
I play guitar in a band.
Oh. Yeah. How long have you been like playing guitar? When do you start it?
6 years, 4 months, and 3 days today. Yes.
Oh, so yeah. So what kind of songs do you usually perform?
We play a lot of mostly pop songs in different languages, from canto pop to Japanese to Korean even.
Oh.
We don't know Korean at all.
So what kind of the band you mentioned is with your friends or?
It's with my high school schoolmates, and we have band leader. Our band leader, he himself is a sound engineer and a musician, like a real one, like a pro one. So he has he rents a studio that his working place. So every week we gather there.
Oh, do you perform like in some concert halls or where do you perform?
Yeah, if given a chance, we perform in like school events, fundraising events, and sometimes in there are some cafe they want to have live music, so we go there and yeah.
So how long need you and your band to prepare for one song?
Well, for playing guitar, it varies. You know, it could be any time between like 1 hour to months. So because I found guitar is an instrument where you only got to learn to strum a few chords and then you can start, play a full song. Or you could go very, in depth.
So do you have any other things to do other than music? You have other hobbies?
It takes a lot of time, honestly.
So all your time is occupied by like practicing and
I feel like 2 days of weekend is like way too short. So Monday to Friday is work. Working hours already 12 hours, so it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
During the weekend, I make active effort on spending one day with friends and family. So and then the second day is for music. I do watch like a bit of anime, and I also like to go out with friends. Cycling, hiking.
Okay. I might want to ask a bit more personal questions. Like I think all of you have noticed that Ellie has like pale skin color and white hair and not very good of vision. So do you mind share a little bit with us that do you have any challenge in your life, in your school, in your work?
I was born with a thing called albinism. So it impact my skin color that I can't be exposed to the sun for too long, and it's also impact my vision. So I have like say 10% of vision. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's actually okay. So I can walk around without any issues, but I can't read the words when a bus is coming. I can't read a street sign. Can't drive. Luckily, I was born in Hong Kong. The challenge always exists, and it won't ever be a time that I can say I overcome some challenge, because I don't view it as some form of hurdle where you can just overcome and then, just like a video game, acquire skills and that's it. You overcome this challenge, earn a badge, and you never worry about it anymore. To me, it's a constant journey. Day to day, since where I was at school and can't actually see the blackboard to where I now going to work, having a very hard time. Well, going into university and now going into work, having a very hard time recognizing people. But people has a very easy time recognizing me. So I will be hesitant asking for help, because when you are a minority in the society and you feel like, asking for direction, you feel like people has to do extra because of you. So since I was very small, I always try to solve problems myself. Then at some point, I found it very challenging to me to ask for help. That's a thing that really, a lot of people might also need to learn regarding of disability or not. Asking for help is a form of courage, and also asking the people around you if they need help is also a form of courage.
Yeah, totally understand. So do you need any special tools in your work, or back to when you were in school, anything tools can help you?
I have an iPad to help me to use the camera to zoom in and take pictures so that I can read the blackboard. At work, I have a 3 much bigger screens, and have my computer set up to bigger font size, etc., etc. So that's the hardware part. But hardware part is always the easiest part. Soft skills part. How do you express your needs to people, and how do you tell them? If it's not your friends, if my friends, they know me, then they would definitely know that I won't recognize them if they just wave. But if it's your colleagues or if an acquaintance, then how do you start the conversation? It's hey, can you, what's your name? I know we talk for 2 hours, but yeah.
I think Eli also gave us a lot of courage, in this kind of special situation of you.
Are there any kinds of activities that you would suggest for QFAA to maybe host in the future?
Honestly, anything. People are the most important, But to me personally, anything that is experience oriented, wine tasting workshop, cooking workshop, or any kind of workshop or even candle making workshop, those kind of things that teach you a new thing, a whole different thing than our current finance industry. Just
something different from the finance industry.
Something very, very different.
Very different.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe next time we can do a music night or music day for you to perform, I guess.
Actually we can do that, a music gathering. I do believe we have other alumni who
keen to sing.
Keen to sing. Yeah.
I would love to know them.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So, all right, basically that's all of the questions. Thank you so much for your time over here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So yeah, everyone, in the future we aim to interview more of the QFin alumni or in a similar setting. So if you would like to be a guest in the podcast, just drop us a message. We're happy to reach out to you and we can discuss the questions as well. If you like this kind of video, for all the viewers, feel free to give a like and a comment down below. You can also subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so that you won't miss out on our next podcast. See you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
À呢度我會 cut 咗佢，冇問題。你
好啊
諗住先，中場休息下。
整理下個儀容先。我驚會剪死你啊！
係要有少少嘅即係互動啦，係咪要有少少嘅笑啦？好悶㗎，如果唔係。
你可以大刀闊斧嘅，呢10分鐘廢話唔要。
呢10分鐘廢話唔要。
係啊。